Reality NXT presents Let's Talk Business series, where we talk about different verticals of real estate with industry experts to deep dive into the current trend and explore future possibilities. This series is sponsored by Totality. Totality keeps you hooked with all progress updates around your sales and marketing, providing 100% automation to realtors. Thank you, Mr. Murali, for joining us today on Let's Talk Business series by RealtyNXT.
Thank you. Thank you.
So before I begin this interview, we have noticed that Shriram Properties saw a sales recover during pre-COVID levels in the December quarter. So please tell us more about this.
The Q1, Q2 had been a little tough, as you know that things were not really good because of the COVID situation. Yeah. Sometime in August onwards, things started coming back very, very nicely. And Q3 has been one of the good quarter for Shriram Properties. Before the COVID hit us last year, when we have frozen the annual budget for the year 2021, right. We targeted ourselves. We should probably do 1 million square foot a quarter. That has been the target with which we started the year. But March, that was a target with which we wanted to start the year. But March, 23rd, I think the lockdown was announced, and nobody expected that could go such a longer period. So whatever our target, that 1 million per quarter, we could achieve in Q3. We have crossed that 1 million target, 1 million square foot pre-sale target by Q3. It has been really, really good. So this has happened due to several aspects, I would say. Basically, the demand from the consumer, particularly COVID, has created, I would say, a new set of demand. Right. A lot of people were looking at alternate investment class. Now, COVID has forced the investors or home buyers to come back to the basics and stay focused on the historically conservative or considered to be very safe assets like home and gold. Yeah. So people came back in a much bigger way in investing into homes. So that has helped us a lot. And not only that, and as you know that consolidation has been happening in the industry for quite some time. Now, COVID has cemented the consolidation much more deeper. So which would leave only a very small number of branded players. So that is again, helping people like large institutions like us to take advantage. So all that is a combination. Apart from that, the sentiment also, government also played a very important role. Whether it's a government of India or state governments, played a very, very important role in keeping the sentiments very, very positive. Including some state governments came back with Maharashtra started, then Tamil Nadu also came back with some concession on stamp duty on affordable housing. Karnataka government also announced something on the stamp duty concession. So very friendly, supportive environment which was created by the government. And customers also felt that COVID, we need to go to the safe way of doing investments. That has also come in. And consolidation helped big institutions like us to corner this opportunity. So it's a combination of all, and we have come back on Q3 and done a phenomenally good job.
That's great. So as you said about the stamp duty, so recently Karnataka budget for fiscal 21 reduced the stamp duty, for the buying apartments price between 35 to 45 lakh to 3% from 5%. So do you think in 2021, the affordable apartment demand will grow exceedingly?
Yeah, there has always been a demand for affordable homes all over the country. In fact, this is my famous quotation I've been talking about for the last 15 years. I used to teach in IIM Bangalore. So one of the class, I remember affordable housing is one area. The demand is likely to continue for 20 years at least. This is what I spoke during one of my class. I mentioned about, I think 12, 13 years ago, 15 years ago. So it is likely to continue for at least the next 20 to 25 years. That was my famous statement. A lot of people asked, will it continue for such a longer period?
Yeah.
Now, if you ask me today, the demand is for the next 20 years. It is not over yet. So hence, there has been a demand for affordable housing in a much larger scale, and it's here to stay for at least next 20 years from now. If alone last 15 years, next 20 years it is likely to stay. All these kind of concessions probably going to help further. Address on the supply side. There are two things. On affordable housing, there is a constant demand, and I expect that to happen for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Be there for next 20 years. Whereas on the supply side, there has been a lot of gap. Not much supply is available for affordable housing because the developers are not incentivized.
Right.
Once there is an incentive provided for the developers and also the consumers, the more number of people will come into it. Hence, the 20 years may come down to 15 years if supply side there is an increase. Currently, I'm not seeing a big increase, but all this kind of, government started addressing this. All these small things can help in addressing the supply side also. So I expect it's not only 21, for the next 20 years, there's going to be a good demand for affordable housing.
Okay. So recently, there was a survey by Proptech. The demand for the completed residential properties is rising as compared to the under construction flats, because as people want ready to move in homes, and last year we saw the total housing sales in 2020 rose to 21% from 18%. So do you think this trend will follow in 2021 as well? Because you're saying affordable housing will always be there in demand, right? But do you think people will consider more of ready to move in homes in comparison to under construction homes?
No, it is not. So this is one off. Maybe also, maybe the percentage may remain the same. But I don't see this continuing because, see, before the COVID, there was a piled up inventory not on affordable housing, on the upper middle income segment and luxury segment.
Yeah.
The COVID has leveled quite a lot of people, and a lot of people took a call of reducing the prices during the period and pushed it. So there were completed inventory or near to finishing inventory which was available that have been consumed because they addressed the price point moderately. Because of that percentage increased. So customers have a preference. They also need to plan their housing purchase.
Yeah.
So they take about 2 years at least. So the generally customer is comfortable if there is a span of about 12 to 24 months time. So that's a period they will look at. So I don't expect there is a finished inventory, the graph going up. It is not possible in India, given the cost of capital today. See, in Western worlds, it is possible. Your cost of capital is less than 2% or 1%. Then you can, practically, your whatever the input cost, whatever you are providing, it appreciates or escalates by 1 to 2% every year.
Yeah.
Even if there is a 3-year period construction takes or 4-year period takes, the cost is going to be only 8%. Inflation normally, some of the Western countries is about 4 to 5% or upwards of 3%. The inflation is much higher than the cost of capital. Hence, they've been able to address that conveniently. Whereas here it's exactly the opposite. Your cost of capital for a developer, good developer, it's not less than 10-11%. For an ordinary developer, it's about 17-18%. Whereas your inflation is much lower compared to the cost of capital. So hence, giving completed inventory is going to be impossible. There is a large developer started, I don't want to name. They announced also in the public about 3 years ago, they will, when the RERA was introduced, they said, we will not do selling when the project is under construction. We will sell only when the projects are completed.
Yeah.
Now, they recently announced it is not possible for them. They are withdrawing that. And either they do projects under construction, selling under construction, or they move out of the business. This is what they have communicated. It's a listed company, they have communicated officially now. So this is a reality today because of the cost of capital. Okay. Unless you bring the cost of capital less than your inflation rate, it is not going to be possible. And is it possible to bring cost of capital in India less than inflation rate? It's not possible. Let's also, we can wish, but let's also be realistic what is possible. That's where we are now.
So in Maharashtra, like recently we are noticing now the government has announced, 50% of employees will go to office and 50% have to work from home. So work from home we are seeing is a new norm coming in, right? So when it comes to affordable housing, do you think there would be a change in a configuration of the house when it, like earlier we used to be like 2 BHKs, 45 lakh, but now the demand of work from home is arising. Do you feel that the configuration of the flat will also change with the time?
Yeah, two things here. The configuration is changing. Yes, you are right. The unit sizes are becoming slightly larger. During this COVID, the new thing which has come in now. Whatever the earlier sizes, people were shrinking the size of the units. Now there is a demand for slightly larger unit now. Yeah. That is real today. That I do not know whether it is going to be long term. Because the work from home in India, I doubt whether it will be long term. So today, if you take any Indian companies today, I don't think there is a work from home. It's all, they are their home is at their workplace now. So it's not possible for Indian companies. Right. American companies, a lot of Western companies, European companies, because of their own challenges in their countries, and they are not willing to take that kind of a risk. Hence, they are putting work from home. That is the problem what they are facing. If you take some large, American company or a European company, because of their, their country regulation, they are trying to impose in India. This is where it is now. Let's park that for the time being now. Why the work from home may not be a permanent solution, according to me, is as follows. In India, if you look at the new age business, the manufacturing, if you take, whatever the manufacturing one, the people have to be on the factory. You cannot do it from home. Right. On the manufacturing side. And already they all started coming back to factories and started working now. Then the second one is your IT, BT, these are all the major ones. Or the consultancy, these are all the ones which people choose to do work from home or can afford to do work from home. This is what they are doing. Now, if you look at, there is some challenge here. More than about 80% of such people, employees in that category, are all either first-time employer in a city, or they are all, new to city. They all moved from a small town to larger town, or they moved from one larger town to other larger town. Now, why are they moving in there? These guys, the 80% of them, they are coming in just not for work. They are coming for a new experience. They are coming in there for a new environment. If you take that away, it will be difficult. One. The second one, Indians per se, at whatever the 21st century or 18th century or 23rd century, savings will be their first priority. And particularly the middle class people, saving is their first priority. 80% of these employees are having the responsibility of shouldering some of their family problems or some of their family concerns. Also, they have the responsibility of sharing majority of the revenue with their parents or with their siblings. That is a condition which they are coming in now. So they always look at how to save money. Now, when you come back to, even if you pay, let's say, I do not know what is the starting salary of a decent IT company today, maybe 5 lakhs per annum or 8 lakhs per annum. Yeah. If you take that 8 lakhs per annum also, or 10 lakhs per annum you take, that guy will be living in a very small rented house, or will be living in a shared accommodation with his friends, so that he pays much lesser rental, so that he can save more money. One. Second one, he looks for food to be consumed from the office space, so that he can save quite a lot of money, either for his own expenditure or share with the family responsibility. So if you take that away, it will be difficult. So we have a large tech park in Chennai.
Mm.
We have close to about 4 million square foot office space. So I've been interacting with some of the tenants. They said work from home, yes, this is what our, we are trying to insist, but maybe difficult because the people want that experience. You cannot take that away, then they will all run away. So it will be very difficult is what they were saying. The other is data security. Still, India, data security can be easily, it can be, breached. So they have a problem there. And also providing the infrastructure and also privacy. Let's say there are 3 fellows staying in the same apartment or same room, sharing the accommodation. How do you provide the infrastructure for him to have this safety and security? It costs a lot. Hence, considering all this, I doubt whether the work from home will be a reality in long term.
Okay. So good you brought the word shared accommodation because we are seeing there's a rise in the co-living segment in India. So what are your thoughts for this particular sector?
It is going to be the order of the day. Co-living is going to be the order of the day. And people started accepting this as the way of doing it. So that is going to be the next big boom is what I see at this point of time.
Okay. So there have been a lot of news. SPL is planning for an IPO. So can you share some more light on this upcoming IPO of yours?
I cannot make comments on this because we are in the middle of preparation. Yeah. So we should be filing the documentation soon for DRHP. So that's where we are now. Okay. So last year, Shriram Properties had announced an expansion of its plotted land development portfolio through a strategic partnership with SLV Infra Project in Bangalore. Yeah. What would you like to tell the property investors about this project? That project has done phenomenally well. It's not only one project. We are doing 3 projects with them. It's not only SLV. There are quite a lot of other projects we have taken up. So in fact, on Q3, our sales through plots accounted close to about 33%. It's a very big number. So I expect the plotted development sales to grow further and further. And we have done very well in Chennai. So there is a big demand for the plots. And the people are looking at, as I said earlier, people are coming back to the safe investment option, which is home or plot. So that's where there is a demand which has gone up substantially. And not only that, a lot of unorganized players were there in the plotted development business, which brand like ours, when we come in, there is a natural demand coming up for that. So we have done very well. It's not only SLV, James, quite a lot of people, Sai God. There are few other developers we are tied up and doing exceedingly well on that. So I've noticed that SPL has been focusing, on the growth through successful partnerships and adopting the development management model as a growth strategy, right? So how this model has helped so far SPL, and in terms of expansion, which are the markets you're planning to adopt this model? See, development management is the key. Today, things have been really, really doing good. Incidentally, last year alone, we acquired new projects worth 2.7 million square feet of new projects under this development management model, which has been growing very, very good. So we have a current portfolio under development management is about 16.56 million square feet in against the overall portfolio of 53.6 million square feet. In the last 8 months alone, we have concluded DM projects worth about 4 million square feet. So, 4 projects of 2.3 million square feet we have concluded in the last 8 months' time. So, DM business development management model has been growing well. We have been very, very successful in implementing this development management model. It's as you know, this is low equity business or practically zero equity, very high returns for the shareholders. And we have cracked this model very well, and we are the leaders today in the country. Doing exceedingly well, and I expect more and more other competitors also to come in. Hence, there could be some pressure on margin, but your IRR is infinite or pretty high. Hence, I mean, you should be able to manage this competition well. I expect a lot of competitors to come in today. And
you were saying.
DM is the way to move forward.
So which are the markets you already have started with this, model?
We are presently having this development management model in Bangalore and Chennai. We are looking at moving into Calcutta and Hyderabad. Same model we are looking at expanding.
Okay.
Other than Bangalore and Chennai.
Okay. So recently we have noticed that Life Insurance Corporation of India is going, aggressive on developer financing. And last year it had sanctioned rupees 225 crore to Shriram Properties. So how SPL is utilizing this loan?
I think it is for some specific projects, and LIC has been extremely supportive of our projects. We have used for our construction finance. And they've been, in fact, showing interest in supporting some more projects. I mean, we are enjoying very good relationship with all the financial institutions, including LIC.
Great. So this is more for industry perspective. I want to understand this. My next question is, it's been said that the government is spending, on big infrastructure projects and affordable housing schemes, such as Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, with enhanced budgetary, allocations would be primary drivers for the growth, and especially for the cement industry. So what are your thoughts on the same?
Government of India has done a phenomenally good job in the last 6 years. And despite COVID, the way they have managed the overall economy is something commendable. And the budget was, the crown of everything. The way the budget has been presented, it has satisfied people across, whether it is, people below the poverty line, or people who are in the corporate world, or people who are in, creating wealth across and middle class. Everyone it has addressed, and it has satisfied everyone. And the new set of projects, whatever Government of India has announced, all that is going to create substantial demand in not only housing, every aspect today. I won't be surprised if we register double-digit growth in the year 2021-22. I won't be surprised. Whatever the perception all over the world, the agencies have been placing on India, but I'm very confident that India will reach double-digit growth in 21-22. It's not just 21-22. The direction is very clear today. This budget is just not the budget. The budget has to be seen with quite a lot of other aspects. It's just not the financial budget. It's just not some new schemes. It's just not, some new announcements. Just not some new concessions. It's just not some new projects and all that. The direction of the government has been set very, very clearly. So if you probably read our Prime Minister's style of function, he does not do just like that anything. It takes time. So even if you take Gujarat model, I think first 5-6 years brought in a lot of stability, brought in a lot of consensus, built confidence amongst the people around him, built confidence amongst the people in the community. Then he brought in quite a lot of, directionally changes. Then Gujarat became the model for success all over the country. I think India now it's being applied now. First 5-6 years has been, developing consensus, building confidence among the people around, building confidence across the sections of people. Now this budget is the game changer. Just not the budget. I don't want to use this word budget. That incident that day which has happened is the game, changer. So now they set a new direction today. This is the direction India will take its journey for the next 10, 15, 20 years. I wish India continues with this journey for the next 15, 20 years, so that it is going to do a lot good to the country, lot good to the people in the Indian people. So it will help in uplifting the entire society. So the directional changes which has been brought in, which is commendable. I expect not double-digit growth only for 21-22. Maybe next 4-5 years we could register double-digit growth, and thus we could become maybe third largest economy in the world. That's a possibility in the next 5 years time.
True. I also agree with that. And especially now when we are hands-on on the infrastructure development, and also so many unicorns are coming out of India now, which is going to obviously add on to our Indian economy much more, in a larger scale. Yeah. So coming to my next question, which I want to know from your perspective is, if you had to predict for this year 2021, then what would be the 5 key trends or the changes that we would notice, especially in the Indian real estate market?
Demand will increase a lot.
Okay.
Many people will come and buy homes. Many people will come and buy plots because that's what they will think. Appreciation factor or safety as the second one. Third one, as you said, the increase in sizes. Yeah. 2022, the increase in sizes will be there. I do not know whether it will continue for 22, 23, 23, 24. I'm not sure. But 2022 will be there. Then the shared accommodation will become order of the day, and more people will look at. A lot of new asset classes will come up. So it's just not typical housing. For example, even housing itself, we saw good demand from the second home buyers. Yeah. For example, if you take a 50-60 lakhs of apartment today, if you contribute about 15-20 lakhs, remaining 40 lakhs, the home loan is at the lowest today. 6.6% to 6.9% is at the lowest today. And the home loans are available for 25 years. Now, if somebody borrows 40 lakhs, their repayment may be about 25,000 rupees or 27,000 rupees. Now, for the next 25 years, any person who has come into any city, middle class person, for him to take out, if you take the 60 lakhs worth apartment, rent it out, you may get 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, some number anywhere between 10 to 20,000. If you take the delta, it's going to be another 15 to 20,000 rupees only. So many people are looking at that as another avenue for increasing their savings. So 20 years down the line, apartment becomes free to them. So carving out 10, 20,000 rupees, 25,000 rupees a month on month is not going to be a significant one. So many people are looking at that option. So rental housing will become another major aspect. So all that will lead into many new asset class creation. So I won't be surprised even REIT comes into rental housing. There is a possibility. It's not permitted legally today, but in some form or other, it will come in, and Government of India also will start addressing that, is my view, in the next 1 to 2 years time. So many new asset classes will come up, and all this will help the customers to gain the best.
True. No, I completely agree with those points. And just to add on and ask one more thing, when it comes to second home, would you see any kind of changes happening in this year? Because last year it was predicted that people are looking for second home. They would want to invest in second home because of these pandemic happening, or it's like an eye opener for everyone to, stay in or have an investment in another property where you can stay for a while or work from home or whatever in that case is in terms of investment.
Yeah, that has already happened. We have witnessed this also. For example, some of the suburban area we are doing plotted development. So not many people have bought. When we did the survey, they came back and said, probably if COVID kind of situation comes up, at least we'll have a home to go and stay there. So that's a new asset class has come in now, which historically was only for rich people. Today, the middle class people also looking at, okay, if there is a pandemic, I'll go out and chill. So that's question. That's a thing which has come in now. So it's all good. It is all going to increase the demand. That's where we are seeing now.
So for this particular segment where I asked a lot of developers, I need to know from your end also, according to you, what are the main important aspects to keep in mind for residential sales and marketing automation?
Automation is a key. See, if one has to grow today, only select players are selling today. Not everyone is selling today. Only very select players. Consolidation has been playing a very big role. Now, for us going from, let's say we are talking about million square feet a quarter, but next year our target will be maybe much higher, at least 20% higher. Right. Maybe next year another 20% higher. So if you keep looking at automation, is the only way with which you can address. We looked at this 2 years ago, about 3 years ago. We started addressing which are all the areas we can do the automation, which are all the areas we can bring in, human interface much lower. Then only we'll be able to scale up. So automation is the key. That's the only way, one can manage the growth. Otherwise, it will be difficult.
So there have been a lot of talks on adoption of technology, right? So in Proptech, there has been a lot of new technology coming in terms of clean air, because now sustainability is another thing where people want to make sure it's part of their living. Be clean air, or even the water management, the facility management. So how SPL is adopting technology? Will we be seeing any kind of collaboration happening with Proptech companies?
Yeah, quite a lot. So we are not looking, clean air is one basic one, which has to be provided now in most of our projects. We have brought in that, how do we get this clean air, and even the design aspect itself, we have changed now. So that is one. We are interacting with a lot of Proptech companies, new age ones, on how do we automate and how do we reach out to customers in a very different way. These are all the ones we are doing it now. For example, during lockdown, we have, in fact, we took permission for a few people to move around. We created everything through artificial intelligence, and we presented to the customers the experience of visiting the site, sitting at home. So that's what we have provided. So those things which are happening now. Now we are working on another one. Without visiting the site, project site, they can get the same experience sitting at home. So we are working on with another Proptech company. So likewise, there are quite a lot of new age Proptech companies which have come up now, which are all, some of them are really good. Some of them can make it as a very big success. So we are also working on where all the technology can play a role in enhancing the quality of life of our customers, and only enhancing the quality of service what we can provide to the customer, enhancing the values for the customers is what we are looking at.
So Murali, tell us what is the pipeline of Shriram Properties for this 2021?
So Q1, Q2 of 21-22 alone, we are planning to launch close to about 14 projects, and close to about 7 million square feet is what we are planning now. 14 projects for the year 21-22 is what we are planning. Close to about 7 million square feet of new projects is what we are planning. So very strong pipeline what we have today. And Q4 of this 2021, we had about 1.6 million square foot launch. So it was very good. So there is a very strong pipeline. As you know, we have a portfolio of close to about 53.6 million square feet, and very strong growth we are expecting in the year 21-22 and 22-23.
So thank you, Murali, for joining us today on Let's Talk Business. It was lovely having you here today, because especially to know more on the affordable housing front from the expert like you, especially from the South Indian market.
Thank you, Kritika. Thank you for the great opportunity. I think, industry is looking good. Country economy is looking good. And overall, things are very good for India. And I think together, both RealtyNXT and Shriram together will contribute towards uplifting the industry, real estate industry, and uplifting the economy. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.